If you're not trying to get out of your shitty situation, then every day you're choosing to stay in it, and you can't complain about being given the choice you keep making. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of making a change. And I really do believe that. So when I hear people complain, knowing they're not changing it, I think maybe it's not hurting them enough for them to fight to get out. Complaining causes negativity, which causes you to complain, which causes negativity. And there are a few actionable things you can do to immediately stop this negative cycle and to break out of it. And the first one is actually just changing your perception. You know, if you can't change it, then at least change the way you think about it. Someone said, the brain doesn't just observe the world, it projects a second story over everything we see. That story is our perception. We can complain rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice that thorn bushes have roses. Perception defines everyone's reality. The second thing is about your internal locus of control. Take responsibility. If you don't take responsibility, then you're choosing to be a victim of circumstance. And this victim mindset dilutes human potential, it kills action, and by not accepting personal responsibility for your own circumstances, you're greatly reducing the power you have to change it. And there are two primary choices we all make in life. It is to accept conditions as they are, or to accept the responsibility for changing them. Please choose the latter. And the last one, which is the most important of all, is making a change. Einstein said, as we all know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And for every action, we have a reaction. If you want a new reaction, you must perform a new action. I found in my life that change starts with a big decision and a tiny step. Today, right now, yesterday was the time to make that decision. It's time to take that step.
Henry Ford said it best in that book, Think and Grow Rich. You probably read it. He said, successful people make decisions quickly and that are slow to change their mind. Unsuccessful people hardly ever make up their mind, and when they do, they're constantly changing it back and forth, wishy-washy, like, do I want this, do I want that? They have so much indecision. Indecision is what kills confidence. And here's the thing, success, the ability to make great decisions in your life, comes from experience. And your experience usually comes from bad judgment. So it's not about making the right decision. Leaders, successful people don't always make the right decision, but they always make the decision right. That is, no matter what happens, they go for it, and then they know they're gonna figure it out in the end because they're clear about their outcome. But you gotta take decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear and say, oh, what am I gonna do? So the first decision is what to focus on. Right now, as you're sitting there, you're probably on Facebook, on YouTube, something like that. You could be focused on this video. You could be focused on your iPhone. You could be focused on something that happened a year ago. You could be something that's gonna happen in the future. But like they say in that book, Eckhart Tolle says in The Power of Now, that your life is happening now. You're most powerful when you are operating in the now. Some people are trying to change things that happened in the past. They thought if that hadn't happened, or if she hadn't said that, or if I had done that before, I didn't mess up before. And their energy, their focus, even though they're talking to you, they're locked in your eyes right there, there's a part of them energetically that is focused on something in the past. Does that make sense? Their energy, their focus, every time anything bad happens, they're like, well, if this hadn't happened before, their mind always goes there. Is that they have a pattern, a habit of focus. And so the most powerful thing you can do is be focused in the moment, because this is where your life happens. And if you're trying to control things that are in the future or even in the past, you set yourself up for disappointment, because you can't change the past, and you can influence the future, but you can't change the future. You know, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of things. Some people have a big impact on the world, but hey, there's times things are gonna happen. So you don't really know, but you still have to make decisions with absolute certainty. You have to have a vision within yourself. So the first decision you need to make every single day is, what are you gonna focus on? What are you gonna give your time and your attention to? That's decision number one.
Every second you spend thinking about what somebody else has is taking away from time that you could create something for yourself.
Yeah.
You're losing. You're losing because you're laying in your bed looking at somebody's fucking glamorous photoshopped picture of them doing something cool, and you're envious and you're jealous and you're impatient, and it's crippling your upside. You've got to deploy patience and you've got to love the process. I'm addicted to the process of the battle scars, the setbacks. Macro patience, micro speed.